Hello, students. Welcome back. So, we will continue with the chapter The Story of Village Palanpur. I had told you all to draw a drawing depicting Dala and Ramkali's conversation. We had finished talking about green revolution, how we can grow more than one crop on the same piece of land, multi-cropping, and then we spoke about would the land sustain. We also saw the distribution of land amongst the farmers of Palampur. And now we come to the next question. Who will provide the capital? How will they get the capital that is needed in farming? With the introduction of green revolution and use of modern methods of farming, farmers realized that they had growing need for funds. Broadly, there are two sources of fund. One is the savings or surplus generated by the farmers themselves. And the second one is borrowing. We know that in the village of Palampur, there are a large number of smallholders, those that hold less than 1 acre of land. These holders are hand to mouth and they often fail to generate surplus or savings for further investment. Modern farming methods require a great deal of capital. So farmers now need more money than before. So what do the small farmers do? The small farmers have to borrow money to arrange for the capital. They borrow from the large farmers or the village money lenders or some traders who supply inputs for cultivation. The rate of interest on such loans are very, very high. They are put to great, they go through a lot of distress to pay off those loans in the future. So I'll tell you two incidents or two examples. One is of Savita, who is a small farmer. She plans to cultivate wheat on her 1 hectare of land. Now, besides seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides, she needs cash to buy water and repair her farm instruments. She's estimating that the working capital would cost minimum 3,000 rupees. She doesn't have money, so she decides to borrow from Tejpal Singh, who is a large farmer. Now, Tejpal Singh agrees to give loan to Savita, but at an interest rate of 24% for 4 months, which is a very high interest rate. Savita also has to promise to work on his field as a farm laborer during the harvest season for just rupees 100 a day. The wage is very, very low. Savita knows that she will have to work very, very hard to complete harvesting on her own field and then even work on Tejpal Singh's farm. The harvest time is a very busy time. She's a mother of 3 children, so she has a lot of household responsibilities. But Savita agrees to these tough conditions as she knows that getting loan is very, very difficult for a small farmer. So these are the conditions that they live in and the kind of decisions they need to take just to sustain themselves. There is one more, Sitaram. Sitaram inherited 1 acre of land from his father. The gross production is merely enough for the survival of his family of 4 members. After harvesting, he is barely left with any surplus money to buy inputs like or to buy working capital like seeds, fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, whatever is required for the next cropping season. He has no savings left to buy anything. So he has no option but to borrow. So where will he go? He knows that banks provide funds at nominal rates of interest, but his farmland size is very, very small, and no bank is willing to give Sitaram the funds for his working capital. Banks also need security, and his holding is too small a security. It's such a small piece of land that no bank will look at it as a security for loans. So Sitaram has to go to a local money lender or a big farmer. He has to agree to many conditions for borrowing, like high rate of interest, that is 3 to 4 times what a bank would charge, working on the fields of his lenders during the peak seasons of sowing and harvesting when labor is not easily available, and also selling his crop to the money lender at rates which is lower than the market value. So, overall consequences of all these conditions is that Sitaram continues to live and he will keep on living in poverty. Farming is his occupation, but less as an enterprise and more as a means of subsistence. So, this is another problem with capital. Like Sitaram, the small and marginal farmers get into this vicious cycle of debt from which they are never able to get out. Sometimes, even the succeeding generations of farmers are not able to pay off their debt. So many times, children are paying off the debt of their parents or grandparents, and this vicious cycle keeps on continuing because they run out of money and they again need to go and borrow. Again, a bank doesn't provide, so they go to another money lender. And same conditions, that is high rate of interest, working on those people's farm for lower wages, and then again selling them their own crop at a lower rate than the market value. So this is the real practical world. In sharp contrast to the plight of small and marginal farmers, the medium and big farmers do not face similar problems in obtaining capital. This is largely because they often generate savings or surplus for further investment. So what happens is they have generated that surplus and savings from their own crops, from the cropping season itself. They are also able to obtain credit from big and established financial institutions at lower rate of interest. So they can go to all these banks and all these fund institutions who are ready to fund them because they have large and medium pieces of land which can easily serve as security. This is primarily because they can provide for all the terms and conditions of such institutions with regard to security and proper documents. They can give proper documents that are required. So, in contrast to small farmers, the medium and large farmers have their own savings from farming. They are thus able to arrange for the capital needed. How do these farmers have their own savings? We will soon read about it in the next part of this chapter. Okay, so up till now we have read about 3 factors of production: That was land, labor, and capital. We saw how these three are used in farming. Okay, and we have also seen what are the problems faced by the people of Palampur in all these three: land, labor, as well as capital. This is a picture which shows the vicious circle where people want to go to banks but they can't. So they take loans from other people which has higher interest rates. Okay. This brings us to the next topic, that is sale of surplus farm products. It's not from product, it should have been farm products. Sorry for the mistake. So after the harvesting season is over, each and every farmer gets busy in the sale of his surplus produce. Surplus produces, they whatever they produce, they will keep a part that they need to consume as a family. Whatever is required for consumption of their family, they will take that part, and whatever is extra becomes surplus farm produce. So after the harvesting season is over, each and every farmer gets busy in the sale of his surplus produce. The small farmers producing on their small plots of land have little surplus produce to sell in the market. A greater part of their produce is kept aside for their own consumption. Thus, these farmers are only able to take out negligible amount of surplus, which does not fetch them sufficient returns. So because they're going to keep a bigger part of the produce for self-consumption, the surplus is very little, and so they are not able to bring sufficient funds in return. Hence, the problem of these farmers with regard to mounting debt, insufficient income, and less employment tends to continue. That means they keep going in that vicious circle. Since they do not earn enough, they cannot even produce enough, as good production requires use of new scientific methods and techniques, which small farmers are unable to employ due to their limited resources. Now, in the medium and big farmers, which have sufficiently large production, they earn well from the sale of surplus. A substantial produce of such farmers is taken to the market for sale. This produce is bought in bulk quantities by traders, who then sell it in small quantities to shopkeepers that are spread over large areas in many towns and cities. So these large farmers, they have a lot of surplus. This surplus is taken to the market for sale. In the market, it is bought in bulk, large quantities by traders, and these traders sell these large quantities in small quantities to different shopkeepers across large towns and cities. From these shopkeepers, the agricultural produce is then purchased by households who are the final consumers. So from these shopkeepers, we people like me and you, we buy, and we are the final consumers. This is how food travels before being finally procured by ultimate consumers. After the sale of their surplus production, medium and large farmers earn good return. These earnings are either kept away as savings, or they are again invested in the farm in the form of capital. So after they are After they have sold their surplus production, these people get very good returns, these big and large farmers. And what do they do with these returns? They either save it for future or they invest it again in their farm as a capital. This capital could be used to purchase raw materials, which in case of agriculture would be high yielding variety of seeds, good fertilizers, manures, pesticides, etc. to meet other monetary expenses. So they can also invest in their own farm. This constitutes to the working capital of a farmer. Now, a farmer can also invest in his farm by a way of increasing the fixed capital. But to increase the fixed capital, he will have to buy uh, tools like new tractor or a thresher, so that these machines will stay with him for a long period. It is not going to get over in one cropping cycle. Okay. So if you look at fertilizers, manure, pesticides, this is working capital. Okay. So once one cropping season is over, it's going to get over or at least get used up, worn out. But things like a tractor or a thresher will stay with him through all the cropping season, and hence it is going to be called fixed capital. So the medium and large farmers are able to arrange for all their capital requirements from the earnings of their surplus produce and savings. The large and medium farmers also benefit from their earnings and savings by lending to small farmers and agricultural laborers. So they also earn by lending the money to small farmers and laborers. This too gets them good returns as these people, these large farmers, they lend money at a very high rate of interest. Okay, let me tell you a story about Govardhan Das. Now, Govardhan Das is a big farmer in Palampur. He generates a surplus produce of 480 quintals of rice from his large farms, that his farms measure over 6 hectares of land. Selling it, he generates a handsome income. What does he do of it? He keeps a part of that income in the bank as a recurring deposit. He comfortably meets all the farm expenses and the capital requirements. He even lends some of the income to small farmers like Mohit and Karan to earn interest income. Using his savings, Govardhan Das has brought quite a large number of buffaloes and cows. So he is also going to supplement his income from crop farming with the income of dairy farming. Okay, so dairy farming would be a non-farm activity. We are going to talk about non-farm activities next time. So I'm going to repeat a part of the story for you next time also. All right. So this was the topic of surplus farm products. So farmers have produced wheat on their land, for example, using 3 factors of production. The wheat is harvested and production is complete. What will the farmers do? They will retain a part for self-consumption, sell the surplus. Now, small farmers like Savita and Govind, they will have little surplus because that total production is only very little. Okay. So, medium and large farmers, they will have a larger surplus. All right. So, with this, we are going to end today's topic. As homework, I want you all to list off some non-farm activities that you all can think of that these small farmers can do in addition to farming, some non-farm activity that can help them increase their income. Okay, so this is so once you think of a few, I want you all to comment on this video so that I know you all are doing it. All right. So with that, I end today's class. Meet you all next time. Stay home, stay safe, take care, and keep learning.